Junior hockey leagues at all levels all have something about them that help them stand out. And the Junior B rated GOJHL definitely has some interesting standout points. Firstly, the Greater Ontario Junior Hockey League is pretty large for a junior league, currently consisting of 26 teams, with 25 of the teams being from Canada and 1 team in the United States, so you could technically say it's a continental league. Also, much like with the BCHL video I made before where I talked about how the BCHL has 5 periods, well, the GOJHL has that too, except they have no shootout. So if a game doesn't end after the second overtime, then the game is labeled as a tie. Finally, and most interesting of all, even though the league has a pretty round number with 26 teams, it has 3 separate conferences. This is because in 2007, there was a merger between 3 separate leagues, named the Western Ontario Hockey League, the Midwestern Junior Hockey League, and the Golden Horseshoe Junior Hockey League. And each of the conferences in the league carry the names of their former leagues. The way this league almost acts is that each league is kinda separate from each other, but also not at the same time. What I mean is that, of course, teams from different conferences play against one another all the time, but in the playoffs, that's a whole different ballgame. In the NHL, KHL, and pretty much every other league with a 2-conference setup, the winners of the 2 conferences in the playoffs face off in the final. In the GOJHL, the top 8 teams from each conference qualify for the playoffs, meaning that only 2 teams don't qualify for the playoffs in the entire league. But in the playoffs, teams match up in a 1v8 style that the NHL used to have, where the top seed in the conference plays the bottom seed in a best-of-7 game series, and so on and so forth for each standing. Once we have our 3 conference champs, what happens next? This is almost like the same dilemma that the CHL ends up with in the Memorial Cup. This of course leads us to a sort of mini extra playoffs. The 3 champions are automatically put in because, well, they haven't been eliminated yet, and the playoff team with the best record in the playoffs is actually brought back in for a chance at revenge. Next, the drawings for these new playoff series are decided with the top ranked conference championship team playing against the revenge team, as long as they haven't already met in the playoffs, so as to deter any potential rematches for the final. The other matchup has the remaining 2 champions, and each of these teams play in a best-of-7. After that, we get our final matchup, a best-of-7 format as well. And the winner of it all, in the end, is granted the Sutherland Cup as the GOJHL champion. I thought this was a pretty neat thing for a league to do, especially in order for it to keep true to its roots in older leagues. And I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one.